Hello. So we are going to study systems theory in detail and how the systems theory is the part of systems engineering and how the system theory works with different domains we'll study. So what is systems theory? Systems theory is basically an interdisciplinary study of interconnected components of entities between the natural or machine or any other domain or any other practical thing that you could able to see, touch or feel could be studied. How they could be studied? Because that system could be represented in terms of components and how these components are being connected together and studying that in the interdisciplinary domain is a systems theory part. And what are the properties of systems theory and the system that you want to see? So a particular system could have a bounded space or time, and that is a car, for example, a system. So it occupies some space. Within that car, you have a space for the engine, you have a space for the steering, braking system. So this is how the space of that car is being covered. And what is time? On the same car, you start moving. When you start moving, you feel that there is an large acceleration of that car. You start braking the system. When you start braking, and how quickly it responds and stops the car is a kind of a system property that you study. So this is what space and time and how that car system was bounded by space and time, and how that car is being influenced by the environment, whether it is stopping before a wall or getting hit by the wall. Or so this type of environmental study, that whether that braking system is working perfectly for that car is not, is a kind of influence that that car system will do with that environment. Then you have a structure, purpose and functioning of that braking system. So how that structure of that braking system should be there so that it could work better. What is the purpose of that braking system? You have to define it properly, that this is the level of power that you driver have to put on the brake, and this much power they have to put to stop the car. So this purpose, all these things. Then functioning, how better it should work. So this is the purpose of most of the systems, that it should be work as better as possible. Then synergy, it expresses that how the working of that components. For example, synergy means braking system along with the steering and along with the gear system and accelerator. Studying, when you study all these things together, that is synergy, means working together, how that braking system works together with steering, with your gear system. Even the fog lamp light, when there is a huge fog, then you have a special type of light that could help you to see that whether there's something coming in front of. So you have that fog light to see visibility in the fog of the objects coming in front of that car when you are driving that car. Then how the fog lamp light would work with the braking system, means how quick a driver could get the response and put the brake with the fog, a dense fog, with the help of fog light. So this is what it means by the synergy type of things. So what is emergence and how the system theory expresses the emergence? Emergence means the property or the behavior, how the components are being working together when they are interacting. Means a component could be there and it doesn't show any property or any type of behavior. But when the three or four components are working together, then only they show the some property. For example, braking system alone doesn't work anything when the car was standing. Braking system work, you have a moving car, you have accelerator working, you have gearbox working. So if there is a fourth gear in the car or fifth top gear in the car, and there was, you are accelerating and suddenly you want to put a brake, this is the emergence, that braking system would start showing some behavior and property only when you have other components working. A standing car doesn't require anything about brake. But when you have a moving car, you have a top gear on the car, you have accelerator particular value. So these are different values, and you want to study that values according to the braking system that you had put on that car. So this is what emergence property. Then systems theory have the following theory and the concepts. It models the system's dynamic constraint conditions principles. For example, there could be many purpose measures or methods tools available for the resource optimization you can see. So system engineering or systems theory actually deals with these type of jargons you can say. What are the jargons? Systems dynamic, how different components are being interacting together. Studying that thing is called systems dynamic. Then constraint, that how constraints are there, how the parameters are being changing, and what are the limitations of those parameters, and what are the limitations of those components. That is constraints study. Then what are the conditions, environmental condition of that systems. Then the fundamental principles of those systems you have to do recognize with the help of purpose of that system, measurement of that system, then methods or tools available to study that system. So these type of principles of systems theory start working to study a whole large system. Then resources and optimization of that resources are very important thing to have a cost optimization. This type of study was being done. Then if there is a change in the system's component or entity that may affect other components or entities, or whole system could be affected. Suppose there is a failure of some part or component in the car, then the whole system of car will be affected because of failure of one or two components. Then what you need to do, you need to change and repair that component. This is what it means by change in one particular system's component or entity will affect the change in the whole system or component. Then you have the prediction of the pattern of behavior. If you have a changing values of brake, you have changing value of accelerator, changing value of gear, top gear, second last gear, first gear, third gear, fourth gear, fifth gear. So there is changing value and how the accelerator works on that, and then the braking system works. So these type of prediction of the changes according to the pattern and behavior of the speed, acceleration. So this type of study you do. Then you have the learning and adaptation with its environment. How the system is behaving, how that car is behaving with a particular environment, fog environment. How the driver should react and how the alert that driver should be when there is a fog environment. When you are driving in the hilly mountain area, and that system means car, you have to do make adaptable for the fog with some fog light, fog lamp should be there, and that should be very convenient for a driver to switch on when there is a fog, and that has to be automatic as well. So all this type of study has to be done for the advanced smart cars. There is hilly mountain area, so how the handbrake should work, whether the inclination could be studied automatically by the advanced automobile, smart automobile. So inclination management and all these things have to be done, learn, adopted with the environment. That needs intelligence of driver obviously, because humans are much more intelligent and heuristic as compared to the automated system. Then system support and maintenance or other things to prevent failure. You need a team working for the servicing that car, and there is a support team required for the maintenance of that car. So there is service center of those cars and automobiles are there in every city, and are specialized mechanic for preventing those failures and avoiding those failures. So this is the purpose of whole systems theory. Next, dynamic and active or passive systems. There are two type of systems that could be possible. Means two extents that we can say. There's a right extent, there's a left extent. There's zero and there's infinity. There's minus infinity and plus infinity. So we are studying about the two extent. One, the system could be 100% dynamic and everything was working and component are been functioning. That is infinity. Then you have a passive system, zero, and nothing was working and it is staying at the rest. So there are two type of system had been said in mathematics, or there is mathematical theory. The beauty of the systems engineering systems theory is that from mathematics to the science, from science to the anywhere you go, arts, finance, commerce, you go anywhere, you have a systems theory working for that. whatever field you go, systems theory will be there. So dynamic or active systems has components that interact in the behavior or processes. How a system could be said as active or dynamic? If there are many components in that system and they are interacting with each other and behaving according to the processes of each other. This is the dynamic system. Now we go to the second thing, passive system. When component has been processed isolatedly and they could able to process themselves in the isolation. So system has components that are being processed. When a particular component was being processed and you have a result out of this and you don't need any other component for working together with that, that is isolated component and that is passive system. This is what we are talking about. When interaction was there, dynamic. When isolated and working together. For example, file or code file that you see in the computer was a passive thing in the computer memory. What memory? When you keep that on the hard disk, that is, it is not working. When you start execute program and that becomes active and that start execution on the RAM and the CPU, and then that program or code becomes operating system. This is what it means by passive and active thing of same system. So program code or file could be a system that is in the passive state when it is kept on the hard disk. But when it start executing, it becomes active because it goes to the RAM and the CPU and that becomes active. Next, we'll see the fundamental concept, very fundamental and very theoretical part of the systems theory. One thing that we are studying since starting was system has interconnected components. This is the most fundamental line that you will see in the systems theory. And then you have higher concepts like boundaries. So outer component of the system in an environment is defined as the boundary. Homeostasis. This is tendency to be resilient, means opposing something with respect to the external disruption, means opposing the external disruption to maintain its functionality. So it's the property of the system to oppose the external disruption to keep its functioning going on. Then adaptation. It is tendency of making internal changes to protect itself and to maintain its functionality. Did you get the point? In both the definition, you need to keep maintaining the functionality which has been defined for that system or the component. Then the tendency of internal changes means you don't have to do the internal changes and to protect itself from the external changes or anything environment to keep its functionality. Then reciprocal transactions, then the feedback loop. What is reciprocal transactions? Cyclic interactions such that the systems influence one another. So one system is influencing another system is influencing another system, then another system is influencing another system. So there is a chain of influencing, means cyclic interaction. And then the last system is influencing first system. So there is a whole life cycle, you can say, a rounded cycle. For example, you see a large system working food chain that lion eats what goats, deers, or other animals from the jungle. Then other animals what they eat fresh grasses, leaves. Then other animals what they actually decompose the large animals. There is a large food cycle and that is food system you can see. So this is where in the nature also systems theory works. This is the beauty of systems theory. Whatever field you go, you can define a system over there. And there's another definition, feedback loop, process to correct or process to self correct based on the reactions from the other systems in the environment. So if system one has doing some error, system one thinks system two had given feedback that these are the errors and system one start recorrecting itself. This is called feedback loop, means system 2 had given a feedback to the system 1. Then this is feedback loop. Then throughput, rate of energy transfer between a system and its environment over time. So how the transfer of energy could take place in a system and its environment over the long period of time is actually being defined as throughput. And these definition could be different for the different theories and different domains and for the different components and different engineering aspects, for different art aspect, for different commerce aspect. So these definition could be changed and these are not specific definition, and that is why every field had their own discipline, and this is where we are trying to do interdisciplinary study. So these are the ways to define a system fundamental concept. Then you have other type of systems like microsystem, mesosystems, exosystems, macrosystems, chronosystems. How they are being defined? Microsystem are being defined system closest to the client. Means a system which is closest to the client, it is said to be microsystem. Mesosystems, relationship among the systems in an environment is said to be mesosystem. How the relationship of different system are being working in the environment. Then exosystem, this means the relationship between two systems having the indirect effect on the third system. Means there is two three systems working together and the effect on the third or fourth system. Then macro system, there is a large system that influences client policies, administration, and culture. So there is a very big system which actually influences many things in the environment of that system. What could be the environment? Environment could be client policies, administration, and culture. So that large system actually affecting these environmental conditions. Then chrono system, the system which has been composed of significant life event affecting the adaptation. So when the system trying to adopt itself, then the system has such that it has significant life event and it is difficult for a system to be adoptable, and that system is being affected with that adaptation process in the life events of that system. Then you have systems theory applications. There are many applications of systems theory. For example, system dynamic that we had seen, non-linear characteristic. What is non-linear? There is two variables. Then it is linear. You can draw a line. Line is a linear thing. So it is said to be linear because it has only two variables. But when you have a three variable, then it becomes non-linear. It will form a graph. But what you have the 4 or 5 or 6 dimension, then you have to think non-linearly. What are the 4 or 5 or 6 dimensions? Means 4 or 5 or 6 entities working together or the components working together. So this becomes a non-linear thing. And that type of study and characteristic of that complex system over time is said to be system dynamic. This is one field of mathematics or complex theory or complex systems. Then you have a biology influence, systems biology. When you start studying specific biological systems and how the biology science research interaction of these biological systems are working together, then you say that field as systems biology. Then similarly, interacting molecules of the chemical things, that network it is forming. So this type of study you can say as systems chemistry. Then you have a study of ecological system, where you have a study of ecology, that is ecosystem study, that is systems ecology. Then systems philosophy, systems psychology. Then means psychology means studying of the behavior of the experience of the particular psychology of human or the culture or the society. That is system psychology, studying of that type of complex system. Then the course title of this whole thing, systems engineering. So this systems engineering is just an application of systems theory. What is the systems engineering course that we are studying is just a part of systems theory. Why we are studying systems engineering? Because we are engineer. We had took engineering or technology as the background. This is why we are studying systems engineering. And this subject and this course actually enables and realization, development and maintenance of systems based upon some applied engineering efforts. This is the coursework that we are doing. And you can see systems theory has too many applications. This is where I want to tell this systems engineering is just one part of the whole systems theory. And there could be many other domains also possible that we are not studying and seeing in these definitions of applications of systems theory. And there could be enormous number of applications of systems theory, and we are only dealing with one out of them. Then you have systems thinking, where you have the ability, philosophical thought process, innovation, that idea generation, ability to develop skills to solve a particular problem of that complex system. That is systems thinking with that systems theory, you can learn systems thinking and how the system is working. You develop your own thinking according to that. That is skill set you develop. That is the dominant field of systems thinking. So this is all systems theory and application. In the next class, we'll see systems thinking. And thanks for today. And hope you had learned about systems theory. And see you in the next class. Bye.